everybody, we are having a very rare stationary video recording today. So I wanted to update yesterday because I knew that I was sort of, it's always good to like report and stuff as it's happened because it's fresh in my head, and also my energy and like the way I'm reflecting on it and feeling about it is like the most clear and best it will be in a way. So I really wanted to record yesterday, but I just didn't get a chance. At the moment things are very hectic, really nice because I'm doing some lovely stuff, both for Wakey Wakey Arts and for other people that I work for. I'm really enjoying it, just trying to sort of, I suppose, keep things moving in the right direction, but just struggling for time really, and it's Christmas, so I think that sort of pressure to wrap stuff up before the Christmas break because you want to come back in January with a clear kind of to-do list is there. And I remember going into Christmas break where I got married and had a 2-week honeymoon in 2018, and I remember feeling so stressed when I was working for another organisation, and just trying to wrap stuff up and like leave it in a good place for whoever was covering it in my absence. And I remember the whole team were like leaving to go to the Christmas dinner, and they were like, "Come on, Claire," and I was like, I'm nearly finished, but like even one email takes longer than you expect, doesn't it? And I remember just like sweating in my Christmas jumper, trying to sort of wrap up and sort of thoroughly leave it all in a good place before I left. So it's not quite as bad as that because I'm not going away for 3 weeks, but I am really conscious that I'm behind already, just because of the nature of having sort of too many things to do and not enough time to do them. But that next year brings with it projects that are happening and things like that. So we kind of turn over into the new year where things suddenly become very real if I'm then behind with them. So anyway, I'm very behind at the moment, but the thing that I wanted to update on is that I held our first board meeting yesterday for Wakey Wakey Arts. So I didn't sort of prepare in the way that I wanted to for it, but I have a very forgiving and supportive group of directors, and I knew that they would be fine with it. So because I'm still in the process of separating out my sole trader work from Wakey Wakey Arts work, and I haven't had a chance to open the envelopes with the cards and the e-readers in and things like that for the bank account. At the moment, there aren't sort of a set of accounts that I can like present to the directors. So what I did was just spoke them through what kind of reserves we've got, what funding is currently sat waiting to be spent, what the kind of priorities are with that funding, and then talked about the state of the systems, like which bank account have we got open, who's the signatory on it, blah blah blah. So financially gave like an update on that, talked about like short, mid and long-term goals for the company. We talked about recruitment and expansion ideas and where the best place is to invest funds to bring in a bit more help, because obviously I'm very behind, and that was very clear. And I sort of introduced all of the different projects that we've got, those that are dormant and those that are sat in the wings ready to go, and those that are active. And we also spoke about, I'm going backwards through the agenda in my head, but we also introduced one another to each other. So these directors came on board from sort of September, but just haven't had a chance to all get together. So this was the first meeting where we could all meet and introduce one another to each other. Some are quite local, so we can have, don't yet know each other, but now know each other and might make connections outside of the board, which is lovely. Quite a lovely spread of skills and experiences, which is brilliant. And I think but like the takeaway thing that I was like riding on as I drove to work last night was just this feeling of like things were rush trying to prepare. Like I thought the meeting was at 1, so in my head I was doing some other work that I wanted to finish at 12 so I could prepare properly for the meeting. I wanted to present all of the different projects with images and videos and things like that, to make it more interesting for these lovely people who are giving their time up, but just didn't get a chance. Then the work that I was doing crept right up until like 12:55. Finished it, sent my last email for that, was like not ideal, but I'll jump on Google Meet now and start this meeting off with the directors. And then actually the meeting was at 1:30, so I had this grace 30 minutes to like prepare for the meeting, which was lovely. So then it was great to sort of sit in that space and then go, I'm not as prepared as I want to be, but these are friends, like these are really supportive people that have chosen to come on board with Wakey Wakey Arts, and they're supporting me, supporting the concept, excited about it, asking questions. And I just felt so peaceful about it and grateful to have that space given to it and given to me, and people asking questions that help alleviate my pressures and things like that. That I just thought was lovely. Like, as a sole trader, you operate in quite an isolated way, which works for me. I don't mind that at all. But I also really enjoy being around people from the creative space, creative sector, that get the work and believe what I'm doing. It was just such a lovely space. And it's the first, as I said, the first board meeting that I've held for Wakey Wakey Arts, but I've been in board meetings before, and I've also met board members, and I've heard people talk about their board members, and they're never spoken about with positivity, really. It's always like it's as if the board, you're answerable to the board, and that's a bad thing because they're looking over your shoulder or judging what you're doing. I didn't feel like that at all. I felt like I was like being my authentic self and being like, here's the situation. You guys know that Wakey Wakey Arts is absolutely at the forefront of my mind, and it's where my heart is. So I'll be working my socks off to do the best that I can to support the business. So therefore, there's no reason for me to fear your opinion of me doing that, or what I have and haven't done, because I'm very like openly saying, I'm going to make mistakes. Can anyone help in this area? I don't know this. Can you help over here? Like, what are your opinions? But also, this is the way I'm doing things because this is the way I'm doing things, and that trust is just lovely. So that trust and like ability to be vulnerable or space to be vulnerable was really lovely, and I didn't necessarily expect that from what this sort of mysterious board setup is. So it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. It was probably an absolute chaos and an onslaught for the senses for those that came, but I really felt good about it afterwards. And then one of the directors asked when they can shout. They've been waiting to share that they're a director of Wakey Wakey Arts, and that they're like, when can we say about it? And I was like, that's so nice that you even want to. Like, it hadn't occurred to me that people would want to do that. Like, I wanted to say who they are because I'm really excited to have them on board. I just need to get their photos and bios up on the website, but I hadn't thought that they might want to do that in return. So it was a really lovely meeting. I obviously Googled what kind of structure a board meeting should follow because I've not led one before, and took sort of agenda points offline and then wrote around them and just did updates for them. But it was only an hour long, which I think is I'm really keen to keep it short and concise and online just for people's time. So it was really good, and I wanted to update. There was a second update. This was more of a sole trader perspective. This is just random, but I do work for Culture in Common, which I don't tend to talk about just because this is about sort of fundraising and running a CIC, and but it's also for professionals, and it's about all the different work that we do to pull together and have an income and work in the sector. And I just had the most wonderful experience being part of a production last night called Lullaby, which was created by Luke Jerram. And Culture in Common have sort of, my understanding is they've bought this artwork and then coordinated it in their local area as per their remit across the New Forest, to sort of support cultural activity and inject funding into the area, because it's been named as one of the areas that needs attention culturally. And the piece was to invite members of the local community to come and ride their bikes covered in Christmas lights around last night it was a 7-mile stretch around New Milton, but it's being done in Pennington, which I think was 4 miles, and it's being done in Dibden Purley, which I think is 7 miles again. As a team member working on the project that I think I've said I've been brought in to produce a project separately, I'm also like stepping in and supporting as a team member that's a producer, just to do different things and help the team do their sort of day-to-day. So as a team member, I was brought in to be a marshal for it, which I was quite nervous about because I haven't ridden a bike in ages. I borrowed the bike and hadn't actually ridden that bike. I didn't know if the helmet fitted, and I just haven't, I don't know, I was a bit like, I don't know if I can stop cars and all that kind of thing. But so I went at the very back to be like the back marshal, and actually I so enjoyed it, and to be part of like a technical experience where we had radios and high vis vests, and like the music had to keep working, it had to all be started at the same point. It was like very coordinated and like designed, and it was so exciting to be part of something that is artistic, an artistic vision for the sake of arts, which was really amazing, and for I think for interrupting the space and causing people to pause like in their cars, and bringing spirit and joy to the streets, and people come out on their doorsteps and watch this beautiful illuminated group of people cycling past. And I think the feeling that there is no, people are doing it just because they're nice and doing it for the sake of doing it is like what makes it so special. A bit like when you watch a parade go by in your local town and you see all the effort that people put into their floats and things like that. It's like people are doing it literally for community spirit, which is so heartening. And I just felt really joyous to be there, and I thought, what a wonderful sector we live in, work in. So I thought, how random is this? I'm like riding around in the New Forest with lights attached to me, part of this thing, this like entity, this operation, and feeling like part of something, which is how you feel as like an actor or a performer on stage or a cast member. And that's like, I miss that so much because I never sort of went into performance professionally. I'd be interested to try that now, but I'm completely aware that my technical skills lay elsewhere. So I don't know if that would become a thing, but I just thought, what a lovely experience. I haven't been part of like a venue or an organisation that has big things like this happening for a while, so it was just really nice. This is a really long video, I hope that's okay. And then the last thing I was just going to say about is, so tomorrow is the last Wiggles and Giggles session of the year at Fluid Motion Theatre Company's Tottenham Creative Hub. And I really wanted to video from start to finish what the setup process and like arrival and setup, so designing the session, packing it in the car, driving it, putting it up in the room, running the session, take down, blah, 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 because it is like long, but lovely. So we've got the last session tomorrow, and I'm going to start planning it in a minute. So the next video, in theory, will be about Wiggles and Giggles, unless I forget to record bits, and then it wouldn't make sense, and then I might not do it. But yeah, I wanted to sort of share that as another like output of Wakey Wakey Arts, and kind of our core delivery at the moment is Wiggles and Giggles and delivery, or delivery with under 5. So I just thought it'd be interesting as part of describing what we do and our day-to-day running. But yes, so I should do that this morning. I've only got a few hours, and then children come back. So that's my working morning. I hope you have a lovely day, and speak to you soon. Thanks for listening and watching. Bye.